Welcome to another night in the NBA. This is your 10-minute recap of the last night of NBA hoops. And there's some good games going on tonight, but a bunch of them I recently talked about. The Pistons, I liked a couple of their guys again. Asar Thompson was great. DeJounte Murray was great for the Hawks tonight, just talked about it. But I am going to talk about something I recently talked about, and I'm going to talk about Cam Thomas, because I just don't think you can ignore what this kid is doing right now. He has now had 30 plus in each of the Nets' first 3 games of the season, 33 points tonight in their win over the Charlotte Hornets. Was great once again. He hasn't shot under 58% from the field in any of their 3 games so far this season. He has the 5th highest box plus minus in the league right now, and the Nets are a vastly better team when Cam Thomas is on the floor. He's a dominant offensive force, 33 points per game right now. He just cannot be stopped offensively. He looks so good, and I don't think people can deny that he's a star anymore. After he had those 3 straight 40-point games last season, the youngest in NBA history to ever do so, a lot of people called it a Jeremy Lin run, in that it wasn't replicable and it didn't really mean anything. Then he had 40 points in the last game of last year, again showing he can do it, but now he has 30 plus in each of the team's first 3 games of this season, becoming the second youngest player in NBA history to have at least 30 in each of a team's first 3 games. He's been phenomenal. He's the first player in Nets franchise history to do this, and he's just a great player, and I don't think people can deny it anymore. Cam Thomas is a star. He's going to be an all-star in this league, and he has a real stake as the Nets' best player right now. He is the face of this franchise, and the best thing to me is that Jacques Vaughn has finally given in. For a long time, Coach JV just wouldn't play him. He'd keep him off the floor. He said, he's too one-dimensional. He can't do this. He's not ready. He's not mature enough. Cam Thomas played 38 minutes tonight, and it's clear Jacques Vaughn knows that this team is better when Cam is on the floor, and the stats show it. He's like a plus 16 through 3 games right now, which is hard to do when your team has lost 2 of 3 games. But Cam Thomas is just an obviously positive player. 33 points tonight, 30 in the last game, and 36 in the season opener. It doesn't matter who teams throw on him, he's gonna score. He does it consistently, and he's one of the best scorers in the game today, and it can no longer be denied. Cam Thomas is a star. He's a rising star, and he's making the Nets good. They almost won both of their first 2 games. Against the Mavs and against the Cavs, 2 good teams. They were in both of those games thanks to Cam Thomas, and now they beat the Hornets on his back with 33 points. And the biggest thing against him has been his defense, but watch the games. I've been watching the games. Cam Thomas's defense has become vastly underrated because of how much people have talked about how it's not good. Cam Thomas is a fine defender. He's not like great defender, or even really a good one, but he's below average to average on the defensive end. He's not like one of the worst defenders in the league, like the narrative would make him out to be. Cam Thomas is a fine defender, and with all the great defensive players on this Nets team, it doesn't even really matter. But Cam Thomas is growing his game, he's getting his shot, and he looks like an all-star right now. But let's move to some other guys on the Nets team. Ben Simmons completely looks back. 11 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists, doing a little bit of everything, a couple of big dunks, and throwing dimes early on in this game. Dorian Finney-Smith with 19, Mikal Bridges with 24. Mikal has still looked like a fantastic player this season. 10 of 13 from the field, continues to look like the great player we saw down the stretch of last year, but now they just have Mikal and they have Cam as 2 fantastic offensive leaders of this team, and all of a sudden I think the Nets could be a lot better than people expected, because people just said they have a lot of interesting players and players who would be role players on good teams, but who is this star on this team? And they might have 2 in Cam Thomas and Mikal Bridges. Who knows if Ben Simmons will ever really be a star again, but this Nets team can be much better than people think really quickly, and they just have a bunch of guys that do things for them. Dorian Finney-Smith was good, 19 points, 19 for Lonnie Walker off the bench, and this is a team that didn't even have Nick Claxton or Cam Johnson. They're missing 2 starters for both of the last 2 games, and they almost take down the Dallas Mavericks, who are undefeated right now. now, and they do take down the Charlotte Hornets, who've been competitive through their first few games. But let's shift to the Hornets side and shout out Brandon Miller, who's been good. Brandon Miller caught way too much hate coming into the draft, and especially after it, because he went one pick before Scoot Henderson, and people said it was an idiotic choice. They said it was the wrong choice, and after a bad summer league and a not so good preseason, people were already writing off Brandon Miller, but he's been fantastic. 22 points, 9 rebounds, is super athletic, good defensively, a real highlight block tonight. And there's a real argument that through the team's first 3 games, Brandon Miller has been their best player. I think it's either him or Mark Williams. Mark Williams, 18 points tonight, 7 rebounds, and shot 100% from the field, 8 for 8. LaMelo Ball has continued to struggle with efficiency. He's shooting 25% from the field for the season, only 8 points tonight. Terry Rozier had 23. PJ Washington continues to be okay with 15. But the Hornets lose this game because of how great Cam is. Cam Thomas is a winning player. He's one of the best scorers in the NBA already at just 22 years old. And Cam Thomas is a star, and no one can deny it anymore. I know there's a lot of haters out there that say he can't pass, he can't play defense. Cam Thomas is a star in the NBA, and I think it's not debatable at this point. He just continues to score every time he's given opportunities. But that's it for Cam. Let's wrap that part up. But now let's shift around. Let's shoot around to some other action around the NBA and take a look at some of the top performers and top games from the night. So, in other NBA action from around the league, let's start with Hawks versus Timberwolves, because this is a game where the Timberwolves put up 79 first half points and lead Atlanta by 19 at the break. It's a game that looks like a Minnesota Timberwolves blowout, and that the Hawks have no chance. But the Hawks win this game by 14 points. It is a horrendous choke from the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Hawks put up 67 second half points and win this game by well into double digits, thanks to 41 points from DeJounte Murray, who took over the second half, 17 of 24 from the field, just ridiculously efficient. And then if you look at Minnesota, you have 31 from Anthony Edwards, but it's just an embarrassing collapse all in all. Let's move to the Warriors game. The Warriors beat the Pelicans by 30, with Steph Curry having 40 once again, this time with 42. And they just blow out the Pelicans. It wasn't a game that was super close, and that's thanks to Steph Curry, who's going nuclear this season and clearly wants to be the oldest MVP in league history. We can talk about Celtics-Wizards. Celtics beat the Wizards by 19, but this is a game that was basically a 40-point blowout. They pull all their best players after the third quarter, and it's 36 from Jaylen Brown and 33 from Jason Tatum as the Celtics rout the Washington Wizards, who beat the Grizzlies in their last game, and things looked like they were looking up, but pretty much no one from them plays well today. Kyle Kuzma was okay with 21, but the Celtics were just leagues ahead of them in terms of competition. The Bulls get back. The Bulls win a game against the Pacers to kind of help with their struggling season so far a little bit, get to 2-2. Thanks to Nikola Vucevic, 24 points and 17 rebounds for Vooch. Really solid Vooch game, and they take down Halliburton and the Pacers. What do we want to talk about next? We can talk about Trailblazers Raptors, as the Trailblazers get their first win of the season, beating the Raptors 99-91, thanks to 10 points and 23 rebounds from DeAndre Ayton. Scotty Barnes has 20 points and 12 rebounds for the Raptors, continuing a good season from him so far, but Brogdon and Ayton take down the Raptors. Luka Doncic is amazing. He's been great this season so far, and finishes this game against the Grizzlies with 35 points, 12 rebounds, and 12 assists. They beat Memphis by 15 to stay undefeated. Dallas moves to 3-0. Memphis moves to 0-4, and there's some clear struggles right now in Memphis. The Bucks beat the Heat 122-114, thanks to 33 from Giannis Antetokounmpo and 25 from Damian Lillard. It was a 35-point game from Tyler Hero, 12 for 21, 8 rebounds for Hero as well, but it doesn't end up mattering. Bam Adebayo didn't play in this game, so that obviously has something to do with it, but the Bucks take them down by 8 and really bounce back from that bad loss against the Hawks in their last game. The Thunder take down the Pistons in a battle of younger teams, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander bounces back from that awful Nuggets game with 32 points and 9 rebounds in this game. Jalen Duran and both Cade Cunningham look worse than they have from their really exciting start to the season, but Asar Thompson, 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks, continues a very good rookie year. The Nuggets take down the Jazz 110-102 to stay undefeated. They move to 4-0 behind another good Jokic game, 27, 11, and 10 for Jokic, 21 for Aaron Gordon, and then when you look at the Jazz, led in scoring 27 by Lauri Markkanen. I believe that's the last game that isn't still going on. The Lakers are playing the Magic, and the Magic are up by 4 at halftime. I've been watching that game from the start. I wouldn't shock me if the Magic win this game and move to 3-0 on the season, stay undefeated, and send the Lakers to 1-3. The Magic have looked good despite not great games from Franz Wagner and Cole Anthony so far. It's been a lot of Jalen Suggs, who's actually playing well for the Magic tonight. But let's take a look at the top 5 players of the night right now anyway. Maybe one of these guys from the last game will move in there. But as we're always going to do, we're going to move into the last segment, the top 5 players of the night, according to the Real Sports app. Hey, tell them to sponsor me, shout so I can shout them out, present them for real. But looking at the top 5 players from tonight's action, at number 1 we have Steph Curry with 42 points, 7 made threes, and 68% from the field. Jaylen Brown at 2 with 36 points and 6 rebounds. Luka Doncic at 3 with 35 points, 12 and 12. Nikola Jokic at 4 with 27 points and 11 assists. And then DeJounte Murray rounding it out at number 5 with 41 points, 7 rebounds, and a great comeback from behind victory. But that's going to be it for this night in the NBA, another night in the NBA. Think about subscribing. I'm on the road to 12,000. But thanks for watching. I'm Herm. Have a good one.